Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. I've been in here chatting with you guys. I missed a few. I missed my friend Bob, Sparrow. I saw Slim. I saw Chloe. We're all trying to figure out how to go bombard Jules at the beach since she didn't invite us. I said, I'll go up 44, pick up just me, swoop down. I know my way around America. It can't be that hard, right? Hello, Comrie. She said, so glad I found you all. You're the best. You're the best too. Hello, Just Steph. Hello. Sarah said, rude. Well, Sarah, you're kind of out of my way, but you're welcome to go. Good morning, Izzy. Nothing would please Jules more than for us to all show up with our clothes and a bunch of Walmart bags and some Keystone Light. Jules would love it. Snazzy wants to go too. Jules, I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening. See, Jesse's not too far. Jules is at Edisto. Hey, Magenta. How are you, girlfriend? How are you? Hello, Alibi. She said, I'm supposed to be in Myrtle Beach right now, but had to cancel plans the day before we left. What happened, Alibi? Good morning, Ryan Christie. Hey, Angie. I see some new names in here. Of course, it's a new case we're talking about today. We are doing this case. We're talking about this case this morning by popular demand. I had several comments, several emails, some messages on Facebook saying, I want to know what you think about this case. So we're going to get it. Cassie said, no one wants to come to New Jersey. I actually dig New Jersey. Big time. I can tell you some stories about when my husband and I were in Jersey. You wouldn't believe it. Let's take a second to tell everyone. We have a lot of new people in here. Let's take a second to tell everyone hello. Court K made it in too. All right, we are complete. All right, so what do you guys think about this case? Corey and Eric Richins. She had 3 million reasons to want him gone. She was a cashier at the Home Depot when she met him. She was introduced by a coworker who told him to, make sure you ask her out. Sparks flew, had children, and next thing you know, she's stealing money from him. Some people say, well, how can you steal money from him? You guys are married. Well, it's a little different story. You don't take out credit cards in someone else's name. CW said spoiled wasn't enough for her. That girl James is from that area in Utah. She is awful. Just Me said it gives her Lori Vallow vibes. Is everybody sound good? Elaine said she's evil. Let's get to it. A mother of 3 has been arrested for the murder of her husband after writing a book on grieving. Now let's talk about the gall of this woman. She put a book out. Here's a copy of the book right there. There's the picture. It says, Are You With Me? She got kind of famous with this book, if you really want to know the truth. Rebecca Gable is here. Rebecca Gable is one of the people that reached out and said, I want to know what you think about this case. Thank you, Rebecca, for pointing it out to me. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't know what the hell's going on if you want to know the truth. So she puts this book out, which, by the way, you cannot get on Amazon now. I looked this morning. I wasn't going to read it. I was just curious. It's gone. In 2022, Corey Richins changed her husband's life insurance so that she could be the beneficiary in case of his death. Unbeknownst to her, Eric was alerted of this change and switched the beneficiary back to his business partner's name. Now, a lot of people say, well, why would he have life insurance with his business partner? A lot of people do that. because in case something happens to the partner, you have a car wreck, a motorcycle wreck, you know, you fall off a ladder, I don't know, then your business partner can continue until they get another one. So he changed it back to his business partner's name. According to police on March 3rd, Corey placed fentanyl in a mixed drink she prepared for her husband. According to Corey, the drink was made to celebrate the purchase of their new home. Anybody ever had a drink to celebrate something? Hell, I can have a drink just to celebrate the day, you know? Have you ever put fentanyl in someone's drink? I don't think so. She was looking around. She said, I need some of that Michael Jackson stuff, she said. I need some Michael Jackson stuff. And she did not mean a glove and a moonwalk. No. After the celebration, the couple went to sleep. Corey claims that she then woke up after hearing her son having a nightmare and found her husband cold to the touch. Eric was pronounced deceased at the scene, and his autopsy would later show 5 times the lethal dosage of fentanyl in his system. Very convenient. Corey told the police that her husband had a pain pill addiction in high school, but hasn't touched pills since. Well, who made the drink, Corey? Eric's family has always believed that his death was by the hands of his wife. They claimed that he told them his wife was to blame if anything happened to him. Eric was also planning to divorce Corey, but died before he could file. On March 7th, Corey released a book, March 7th of 2023, called Are You With Me?, which details the story of a boy that loses his father but is reminded of his presence. In a statement about the book, she said, My kids and I wrote this book on different emotions and grieving that we've experienced in the last year, hoping it would help other kids deal with this kind of find happiness in some way or another. It's comforting for them that they're not living this life alone. Dad is still here, but in a different way, she said. See, she had been trying to poison him for a while because on Valentine's Day of 2022, Eric had an allergic reaction to a dinner she made. This led to him breaking out in hives and having difficulty breathing. He took his son's EpiPen and some Benadryl before passing out. When he woke up, he called his business partner and told him about the incident. Some reports state that Eric believed his wife attempted to kill him again. 2 weeks later, Corey contacted C, I don't know who C is, asking for something stronger, specifically some of that Michael Jackson stuff. She was sold close to 30 pills for $900. And then Eric would be dead by March 4th. Eric's sister told authorities that a few years ago, Eric got sick from a drink Corey poured for him during a vacation in Greece. This is when he first started to think his wife was attempting to kill him. It was brought to the police's attention that Corey and Eric argued over a $2 million home that Corey wanted to purchase and flip. Who would flip a $2 million home? You just live in the damn thing. Eric was going to tell Corey that they were not purchasing the home the day after Eric's murder. Corey closed on the home and threw a party with her friends. On March 28th, 2022, Corey sued Eric's sister over his estate. However, his sister countersued, responding that there was a pending homicide case. Corey was also accused of assaulting the sister after finding out she was in charge of his will and estate. My friends, this is nuts. Tiffany said, flip it for what? That's what I want to know. What are you going to flip it for? There's Corey, Eric. The kids are blurred out in better days. Annette said Eric was suspicious, so why would he drink anything she made? I don't know. Maybe he thought he was being paranoid. Maybe things got better and she started being, super nice. I don't know. I don't know. Roberta said, I'm so glad he left his sister in charge. Me too. I'm with just me. This has some, besides the cult value, but sometimes, money can be a cult if you want to think about it. It's crazy to me that she would have a party, close on the house after she induced an OD. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why these people think they can get away with things like this. She made herself so damn obvious. Now, mind you, it took a year to get her arrested. Snazzy says, I'm so glad that the drug dealer is cooperating. Thank God for drug dealers today, right? Only in this case, though. My God. Let's look at this. And you all tell me what you think. Debbie says, who has the kids? My understanding is they are with close relatives. I don't know if they're with Eric's mom or if they're with Eric's sister. I don't know. Casey said, plea deal for the dealer coming in hot. You better believe it. You better believe it. Because this is nuts.
Tracking new details in the shocking case of a children's book author and mom of 3 who allegedly poisoned her husband's cocktail with fentanyl. Corey Richins allegedly threw a party at her new $2 million mansion the day after his death. Police now investigating if arguments between Corey and her husband Eric about purchasing the mansion could have been a motive in his killing. News Nation's Kelsey Kernstein has the very latest on this case now. Kelsey?
All right, I have to pause it for a second. All right, so the motive is definitely money, as far as I can see right now. That could change. They also said that she was having an affair. We haven't heard if she was or not. But they say the motive was this house. But she was trying to murder him before they had the argument about the house. I think she found out about the life insurance with him and the business partner and went from there. Because he had a great going business. He had a great business going. I mean, enough for her to take thousands of dollars on whatever she wanted and pull out $900 to go get some fent. Woo!
Hey there, Natasha. Yeah, this really is such a bizarre case. So, family members of Eric Richins believe that his wife, the children's book author, Corey Richins, is responsible for his death. Now, with court documents saying this wasn't the first time she tried to poison him. So, allegedly, Eric Richins warned his family before he died that if anything were to happen to him, his wife was to blame.
He was 39. It completely took us all by shock. And we have 3 little boys, 10, 9, and 6.
That was Corey Richins.
Listen to her. What a narcissist. Giving these interviews. Speaking of narcissists, OJ's raising hell. Giving these interviews. Her husband was a hard-working man who, and by the way, no offense to anyone that works at Home Depot. I love the Home Depot. But she went from being a cashier at the Home Depot to go into Greece, pulling out thousands of dollars for whatever she wanted to do. She's sick. And to go on the TV and be the grieving widow is horrible. I agree with Rebecca. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Those poor kids. Angela said, what's up with OJ? He's just in one of his moods.
In an interview with a News Nation affiliate, promoting her children's book on grief. She wrote and published the book within a year after allegedly killing her husband, Eric, poisoning his Moscow Mule cocktail, lacing it with fentanyl.
I would never be able to grieve in that amount of time and then write a book and then also take care of my 3 small children.
Corey Richins is facing charges for first-degree aggravated murder and multiple counts of second-degree possession of a controlled substance. New details in court documents now revealing she allegedly tried to steal her husband's life insurance policy, making changes to his agreement just 2 months before his death.
She made her own changes to his life insurance. He found out about it and changed it back. Anybody in Utah, can you help me out here? Will she get the death penalty or not? Because all of this has just been going down in the last few days. Very sneaky. Very sneaky. Word to the wise, when someone changes your life insurance policy behind your back, go to the local McDonald's and get a quarter pounder. Don't eat anything.
During a Valentine's Day dinner 1 month later, Eric became sick, telling a friend he thought his wife was trying to kill him. A pattern of behavior, as his family members say. They suspect Corey also attempted to poison a drink for her husband on a trip to Greece years ago. Investigators not ruling out any potential motives at this time, with the family's attorney saying Eric had reason to believe his wife was having an affair. But News Nation law and crime contributor Jennifer Koffendorfer says, well, there is not any proof of an affair.
Jennifer Koffendorfer doesn't know. Lone Wolf Spirit, thank you for the super sticker, said this case triggers me and flashes me back to the milkshake murder back in the 80s in South Florida. Lone Wolf was close to the survivor. I'm sorry you went through that, Lone Wolf. Quit. Stop it. Quit. Hang on 1 second, guys. Get out of here. What are you doing? Come on. Ridiculous behavior from you today. Just sit right there, please. He's chewing on the mouse wire. Goodness. It's like the cat in National Lampoon's Vacation that was chewing all the wires behind the Christmas tree. Knocking my stuff off. Goodness. What did Nani say? Rebecca said, great comment, Nani. I gotta find it. I missed Nani's comment. But you know, you're right. It does have flashbacks to the milkshake murder, Lone Wolf.
Possible financial motive could hold up in court.
Certainly, if she murdered him and she is convicted of that, if all the facts point in that direction, which right now they are, this book just looks terrible that she would use this horrible scheme to monetarily get money for this murder.
We do know that Richins is being held without bond, and her next court date will be this Friday. Natasha.
We'll be watching. Kelsey Kernstein, thank you so much.
Woo! We will be watching for sure. Sonia said, see, this is why I'm a dog person. I know. You wouldn't even believe what I'm going through right now. I had to turn on, I have this thing we got, and it's a mechanical cat. And you hit the button on the back, and there's like a red laser that comes out, and it moves and moves. So he's chasing that right now. He'll be okay. Criminal Med Connection says, why didn't he go for a divorce? He wanted to keep the nuclear family together. I read an article today out of Salt Lake Tribune, I believe it is, and said that he was thinking things would get better. Christina said, monetarily get money for the murder. JC is brilliant. I don't know when they're going to stop putting her on there. It's just really the minute I was going through some clips this morning and she popped up and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. I am not doing this. Toxicology caught her. Text messages caught her. The dealer told him what was going on. There is a lot here. And I mean a lot. This is the woman, sweet, sweet woman that worked with Corey. And she's in total shock that this happened. I mean, total shock. She's the one that was kind of playing matchmaker at the Home Depot. I mean, this woman murdered him. She didn't exactly lay low. She goes right after his sister for his life insurance. And then writes this book, which she had no business writing. Thank you for the memberships, Carol. Thank you. Thank you. Look at this. We have Crime Lines and Lies memberships coming in. We have a members live coming up. And don't forget to check the community tab where it says members only. Steph Lynn. I need to slow this chat down. I apologize. Steph Lynn said, yes, the dealer is known and helping. Yes, he is. He is. And who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? The drug dealer saves the day.
Let's pray to God this isn't true.
Family friend Linda King says she's been in utter shock following the news of Corey Richins' arrest for the death of her late husband, Eric.
Their family was so beautiful. Everything was picture perfect, but I guess it wasn't.
About 9 years ago, King says she and Corey worked together as cashiers at Home Depot, where Eric was a frequent customer as a contractor and one of her favorites.
He would come in my line all the time. You could never forget his laugh. And I love that laugh so much.
She says she was the one who encouraged him to ask Corey out after seeing her catch his eye.
I says, go over there and check out with her, so they did. And anyway, they ended up having a date. From then on, they were like glued to each other. It was perfect, I thought.
After Corey left the cashier job, they kept in touch, and King felt a special connection to them because of their introduction.
They seemed like they were my children. And I was proud of them. That's how I felt about them.
When Corey told her Eric died of a brain aneurysm last year, she says she was surprised and devastated.
This woman is breaking my heart. She said, I was proud of them. She egged the relationship on. Why did Corey tell her that he died of a brain aneurysm? He clearly OD'd, and she clearly induced it. This is horrible. This woman is feeling some sort of guilt. And I feel bad for her. I feel bad. Hang on, I'm going to put the link up if anybody wants to come up and talk about this. Sarah said so she wouldn't know how he died. And I get that. I get that. But you scratch a lie, you find a thief. And that's what we've got here.
Eric died of a brain aneurysm last year. She says she was surprised and devastated, but she never questioned it or suspected foul play.
I thought, well, that's what it was, Poor Eric.
She even looked at buying Corey's book on Amazon, written for children about grief and loss. Looking back now, it's something she says she finds deeply disturbing.
It makes me sick to my stomach to think about that.
While she says she wants to leave it up to the courts to decide, King says she's completely torn over the news and is trying to wrap her head around something that seems so unbelievable.
Like, she couldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. She had too much. It's more than super shocking. I can't
This woman is breaking my heart. And she's right. The woman had everything, but she wanted more and more and more. Comrie, thank you. Comrie said they were Facebook perfect. She puts on social media this perfect life. Look at us. Look at our beautiful children. Look at our home. Look at this. But she's after him and after him and after him for more and more and more. $2 million house wasn't going to be enough for her. All the thousands of dollars she took out of his business and the family budget wasn't enough for her. Beautiful children wasn't enough for her. It's just such greed. Now, if she had gone from a certain lifestyle and suddenly found herself in the gutter, I could see being on the old boy going, this is not what I'm used to. But it's the opposite. She went from being a cashier at the Home Depot, and I'm not saying anything about that. I'm saying nothing about being a cashier at the Home Depot. But she goes from the cashier at the Home Depot to being able to buy a $2 million home. Good morning, Lone Wolf. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Now, what she's experiencing is called survivor's guilt. Like I said, I have a different belief system, but and I can relate as far as to what she's feeling and going through and everything. Because the survivor of the milkshake murders, okay, she's religious. I'm non-religious.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, I have been trying to counsel her as far as she's stuck on the forgiveness part of the perpetrator. And due to her belief system. And I tell her, okay, you have to go through a separate grieving process before you can actually forgive the killer, if you ever decide. But the survivor's guilt, you're constantly questioning, okay, well, could I have done more? I mean, the survivor knew that her husband was being poisoned. They made reports and everything over a period of time, but nothing was done. And of course, back in the 80s, the forensic testing and everything wasn't the best then. But now, forensic testing is so more advanced. But yeah, that survivor's guilt will really take you over the edge and put you where you feel that you're responsible, and you're not.
You know, and this lady is so brokenhearted. She said, I was so proud of them. I see a lot of comments in here saying you can't make a housewife out of a hoe. What do you think about that, Wolfie?
He was blinded by her.
Yeah. He was blinded by her. And, she caught his eye and they just thought everything was going to be great. But she got a taste of that apple. She got a taste of his success, not hers, and wanted more and more and more.
sort of like Candace.
On a different level, yeah. On a different level. I mean, she wasn't abusive to the kids as far as we know. But someone that doesn't really have any gifts or talents of their own was Corey. I still want to know how the hell she wrote the book. I really do. What was she left to live on if everything went to his sister? Christina said she's like Letitia. Letitia wanted more and more and more. She wasn't going to her brow wasn't going to sweat. She wasn't going to help out. She just wanted more and more and more. Tiffany said it's entitlement at its finest. Thought her shit didn't stink. And when he was refusing her, she was like, hey, I've got 3 million reasons to get rid of him, and I'll go do it on my own. Let me tell you what, if she had gotten that $3 million, it'd have been gone in 6 months. It'd have been gone in 6 months. She'd have gone through that money fast.
I mean, I really feel numb.
I tried reaching out to the Summit County Sheriff's Office and the Attorney's Office to ask them why it took over a year to lead to an arrest. Both parties told me they will not be commenting at this time. And Camus, Darby Sparks, KUTV2 News.
All right, let's talk about Steph Lynn's comment. She said, but again, she tried to poison him once. I don't think I would be able to trust her ever again. Yes, exactly. When someone, and I am not disparaging the dead, I would not disrespect the dead. No way he is 100% the victim. But if someone feeds you a meal and you can't get to the bathroom fast enough, or you go straight to sleep, there's something wrong. Why do you think he kept trusting her? I'm going to assume it's the kids. What do you think, Wolfie?
Well, it's definitely the kids. I mean, love is blind. And then when you have kids involved in the marriage or relationship, it compounds everything.
I want to say something really quick. Steph, I don't think you're disrespecting him at all. I'm just getting ahead of the ball in case someone comes in going, Brooks, what are you doing victim blaming? No, I don't think you are at all. I love this conversation. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Wolfie. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. You can cut me off anytime because when we get involved in these cases, okay, open discussion is part of the critical thinking that is absent as far as with a lot of creators.
We have to have.
I mean, hell, I've been with you for 2 years now, and you're, as far as open discussion and critical thinking, this is the best YouTube channel as far as that allows it. I rarely see the mods deleting any type of a conversation unless it's detrimental to the case itself and what's being discussed.
No, I can't really think of anything that gets deleted around here. I mean, even when people call me a twat, it stays up and we talk about it. Just Me said, I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't write the book in advance. See, she had a plan, and part of her plan was to be famous. So she had a 2-part plan, and I agree with Just Me. Because she didn't just write the book a couple of months ago. It takes a while to get these things published and on Amazon. I would agree with this. I think she had a plan, and it was a twofold plan, not only to get all the money, all the life insurance, and she hated his family, hated his family. She wanted them cut out. She wouldn't just divorce him because, well, part of it was their religion. They're Mormon. And he was very, very into the church. Very. That girl James said the kids and their Mormon religion. That was part of it. Yeah. Sarah said if she divorced, she'd lose half. She wanted it all. She's extremely, extremely selfish person. And Mormons can get divorced. They do get divorced. With her, she wanted it all. Not half. She wanted it all. Angie Baby said, I wonder if she heard about the divorce. Maybe something was looming through the house and she knew that he was getting ready to be done with her ass. And she was like, oh no. Oh no.
I personally think he recognized that she was poisoning him towards the end. And that's why he basically changed his will.
He did. He did. He changed his life insurance back the way he had it originally, and he changed his will. Glenjamin said, my religion won't allow me to divorce, but I can kill. That's goofy. Exactly. Exactly. Lala says Beigefield got her beige on. She does. Yeah, let's look at this because Corey had a big party after he died. Now, when you have a friend who has lost a loved one, of course, you're going to go visit, take some flowers, help clean around the house, take a casserole, whatever. But she had a party, an actual party. Christina, do we have a mugshot? I can't find her mugshot. If anybody has her mugshot, send it to me because I'd like to see it. Their mugshots tell me a lot.
That Eric suspected that she was actually trying to poison him before, more than once. And he warned his family that, quote, if she, she's to blame if anything happens. That's what he said to them. He was reportedly considering divorce at the time, too. Apparently, he thought Corey was having an affair. He actually went as far as to secretly change his will and his life insurance back in 2021 so that everything would, in fact, go to his sister and not to Corey. I'm joined now by Greg Skordas. He's a spokesman.
Okay, so my thing is, and I'm married, if my husband changed everything to his brother, I'd be like, what did I do? So obviously something was very wrong in 2021 for him to make sure if something happened to him, she would not get anything. What would happen? Lisa said, it blows my mind that people even know where to buy fent. In my wildest dreams, I wouldn't even know where to start to try to find. That's what I'm saying. When these people just dig up drugs, I'm like, where the hell do you get that stuff? Not that I want to know. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. And there is some theories going around, and it might be used in her defense, that he was abusing her. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to go for that because let's face it,
Neither am I.
she killed him.
For Eric Richins' family. So I'm curious about that party. Greg, can you tell me a little bit more about it? Because it just doesn't sound like it's possible. Like, who would come to a party within hours of the death of her husband? How did that all go down?
Well, it had been planned apparently beforehand, and it had been planned because they had both assumed that they were going to be closing on this house, the house that you just showed on that picture, actually, a few minutes ago. And there was this $2 billion house. It's a 22,000 square foot house. She went ahead and signed the closing documents the next day, purporting to have done it while he was still alive. But she was celebrating the fact that she was about to make a bunch of money, she thought, by selling this house and then flipping it and selling it for much more than she was buying it for. And they were going to fix it up a little bit and try to make a $2 million house into a $5 million house.
But who's coming to a party? Did she just not tell anybody who was like toasting this big, purchase that, oh, by the way, last night my husband died?
It's too strange to be true, but that's exactly what happened. I mean, she had this thing planned. She had this big event planned. And the fact that her husband had died, actually been murdered the night before, didn't seem to dissuade her from doing what she ended up doing, as you well know.
I mean, nothing stopped her. He dies. She closes on the house. She has a party, but she said that he died because she brought him the Moscow Mule with the Michael Jackson stuff in it because they were celebrating the house. Beishfield has on shoulder pads. What the hell's going on there? Does she have on jelly shoes too? Tiny Dancer says premeditated. Hey, Blue Petunia, if you're in here, if you want to grab the link, come in because Blue Petunia is seeing this a little different way. And I want to hear everybody's opinion on this. Either way, he had 5 times the legal limit in his drink. 5 times. Amanda's getting connected right now. Hang on. I gotta go back and check out these shoulder pads in a second. How long has it been since you've seen anybody with shoulder pads, Wolfie?
Long time.
Yeah. Well, what's old is new again. Britt Sadie said her saying he had a problem before, she's trying to make it seem like it's self-inflicted. Of course she did. Absolutely, you're 100% right. Sarah Adams said, I'd say so. She spent $900 on the fent. This is premeditated. I'm with Just Me. I think she already had this book in her head. Let's see what Amanda has to say. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, y'all. I'm thinking, I wonder if she was involved with someone, that maybe they were involved a lot longer than what people suspect, and maybe they had it planned to try and get rid of him so they could get together.
Mm-hmm. I'm still waiting on the other man to pop up.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking, is if she possibly was having an affair, maybe it was more intense, and maybe he helped her along the way with getting narcotics and everything to try to get rid of him so they could eventually get married themselves.
Does anyone know how she found the drug dealer? And no, I don't need his number. I have no use for any fent around here, even with the way OJ's acting. But does anyone know the connection? Because she had to have found him somewhere. The rumor is she had been having an affair with the business partner. But she's the one that's in jail. And again, that's just the internet for you. But she's the one in jail. There could be a lot more to this. my friends.
Well, actually,
Wow.
going off what you're saying, instead of an actual affair, uh, if you compare as far as to Letitia, okay, uh, she was setting somebody else up to be the fall guy.
Mm-hmm. And I totally missed this, and I apologize. Thank you, guys. People said the dealer is a woman. That's my bad. I apologize. Thank goodness for you guys. Christina said maybe it was Craigslist.
Or if it was the business person she was hooking up, maybe he helped her find somebody to get it.
Mm-hmm. And I know she's a real estate agent, but wanting to flip a $2 million brand new home in this economy, what was she really doing? What was she really doing? The housing market is a mess.
She
right
had
now.
to.
We all know that.
She had to have been involved with somebody who had money. In my opinion.
Well, maybe so. Okay. Because if she could get away with this, then she could get away with killing the second person.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, if she is involved with somebody, why would she take the punching and go to jail by herself? Why ain't she opening up on who was helping her and helped her get whatever narcotic to get rid of her husband? Why is she being so hush hush about it?
I think it was all about cold hard cash. Getting on with her life. Obviously, their marriage wasn't perfect. He knew things were going south in 2021. She tried to poison him on Valentine's Day. She had 3 million reasons to get rid of him. And women like her have always got someone to fall back on. There's always somebody in their sights.
Yeah.
Always.
She had a backup plan. She definitely had a backup plan.
You better believe it. And Bonafide said she cannot stand that comb over that Corey has. Yeah, that's the wrong part to have on her head. That is the wrong part.
Eventually she'll have an X on her head too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cousin Ed.
She could have been an author with him alive. She would have had a better chance with him alive than her in the pokey. That's it.
Yep.
Because you just talked about it. She even wrote a book the night before. Didn't seem to dissuade her from doing what she ended up doing, as you well know, because you just talked about it. She even wrote a book about it.
I mean, even if she ends up being not guilty, by a jury's standard, that's just filthy to carry on like that after your husband dies, to just go ahead and, drink, toast everybody. Okay. Now they have 3 boys, right? 3 little kids.
Right.
Who's looking after the children? What's the status of those little ones?
They're still in the area. They're with a close family member. They're all 3 together, as siblings should be. They're in very good hands. Everyone's very comfortable with where they are right now. I think they're protected, and by all accounts, they should be in very good shape going forward, even though they've lost their father and may very well lose their mother next.
The kids always lose with these selfish losers. The kids lose every time. Lost their daddy. Their mama's in jail. Someone's going to have to explain this to them at some point if they haven't already gotten on the internet to see it for themselves. Corey said, how can we buy this book? Amazon took it down. Amazon took it down. Yes, they did.
You know, another thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm thinking and wondering if eventually she wouldn't have tried outing or unaliving the kids for money.
I tell you what, the kids got by the skin of their teeth. That's for sure. I mean, that is for sure, because normally women like this leave the husbands alone and go straight for the kids. So I'm very shocked that the kids survived this. She's homicidal. That is, wow. You know, I mean, what do you even say about that?
I mean, I have this vibe that she eventually would have done something to those kids. She wanted to start with him and try and get a lot of the money, but I guarantee she would eventually put insurance on those kids and tried to slowly unalive them. As sick as she is to do that to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have a lot of discovery to do, because I don't believe that he was her only target. I think she has a lot going on.
Yeah.
She might have already had taken out insurance on the kids.
Yeah. Because I think she sought out to get him first, and I believe she eventually would have went after those kids for more money, as greedy as she is.
Blue Petunia says, how hard did you try to change him before you dealt with it another way? And I get that side of it. A lot of people are saying that he was abusive to her, and this is why this happened. That's why she wrote the grief book, so her kids wouldn't think bad of him because they saw things in the home. That, to me, and I'm being respectful here, Blue Petunias, because I see where you're coming from. I think that is too convenient of an argument, because she had already tried to poison him. He changed his will. She changed the life insurance. She was taking hundreds of thousands of dollars to do whatever she wanted to do with. If he was abusive, when she took these thousands of dollars, she could have taken them to take her kids and get away from him. She could have gotten away, but she didn't do that. She wanted the oh my God, I feel so bad for you, you're a widow now, and the money. She had all these credit cards in his name he didn't know about. So she had the opportunity to get away if he was abusive to her. Do you see what I'm saying, Blue Petunia?
Is it just allegedly he was abusive to her? Or is it facts that he was abusive?
I don't think he was. I think it was the other way around. I just know
it was a lie.
There was a big talk about this, and I'm not going to be surprised. Buckle up, everybody. Buckle up, because she's going to have a defense. And we know what it's going to be. It's going to be he was horrible to her. That's what it's going to be. You can't defend 5 times the legal limit in your Moscow Mule while you're celebrating a house that your husband didn't even want and thought was a bad investment. She has to defend it somehow. And her defense is going to wind up being that he was abusive to her. She had all the means, the opportunity,
that's going to be
everything.
Yeah, that's what I feel she's going to do, is use that as a scapegoat. Oh, he was abusive to me, so I was trying to find a means to get me and my kids away so he could no longer do this no more. And blase, yada, yada, yada.
Tiffany said she ought to be ashamed of herself. She didn't give a shit about her kids either. Snazzy says abuse is not a defense for murder unless it was happening at the time of the murder as self-defense. Oh, no, I know
She
what
could have went to somebody.
Go ahead, Carol. I apologize.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I apologize too. It's like there's a delay and robotics back here, but now I lost my train of thought. If he was being that abusive, to her, why didn't she go to somebody? Why didn't she say something to somebody and just, I don't understand that with women when there's abuse going on. I know it's fear and stuff like that, but they're going to do it regardless if you open your mouth or not. So why not open your mouth?
I don't think she was scared of him, or she wouldn't have that life insurance. If she was scared of him, she wouldn't have messed with any of the finances. Battered women.
No, I'm stating towards if he was supposedly doing that, which I feel it's not even true anyway. I think that's just going to be, like you stated earlier, her defense. Oh, he was abusive to me and doing this and that. But if he supposedly was, why didn't she open her mouth and say something? She could have got away and probably had a chance, not unaliving him, to try and fight for custody of the kids and get spousal and all this support from him.
I 100% agree with you. 100%. I just don't think that the battered spouse syndrome really went on. I think she's going to try to use it because she has to have a defense. What do you all think her defense could be to this? Just that he put the fentanyl in his drink?
Oh no, she's going
to have trouble with that as far as the battered spouse defense, because you got to go back to 2021 as far as when she first poisoned him. Okay, she had 2 years to get away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jim and I have a great point. He was good with money and she was reckless. So she wanted him gone so she could keep, feeding herself, spending all this money, doing whatever she wanted to do, not looking at the budget, not looking at the future. That's what she wanted. Nani said Dr. Lewis can surely help her out.
That's a good one.
I agree, Nani. Good old Dr. Lewis. Good old Dr. Lewis. Nucky said she wasn't leaving without all the money. That's what I think too.
Yep.
She was about to leave without every dime.
Well, daggum, if she already tried to unalive him once, there ain't no way she's going to be able to cover up the second time.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't no excuse in the world to even try to cover it up.
Tiny Dancer says, Brooks, in my opinion, her defense will be that they will portray they were both addicts and both took fent and he OD'd, but not her because she wasn't tested at the time. So we have to have a defense here. I think the defense is straight up greed. She's just greedy. And of course, that's not a defense. It's just one of the 7 deadly sins. And we get that. But she's going to have one. So it's either going to be battered women syndrome, or we're going to pull the mental illness addiction card.
Yes, like cousinette did. Oh, he was abusive to me. So, just out of the blue, I went crazy. I didn't think about it, and I just did whatever because I couldn't handle being abused anymore. So I figured that was the best way to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Snazzy said the fact that she changed his life insurance and then after his death hired attorneys to fight it it because it had been changed back is proof it's all about the money. It's
Yep.
all about the money, honey. All of it.
Greed, and money.
Greed, greed, greed. You got a taste of the good life and you wanted more. It wasn't enough for you.
Should be in very good shape going forward, even though they've lost their father and may very well lose their mother next.
That's what always just fails to, I just can't understand how anyone can't see that that's the net result of doing something like this. What did he say? What did Eric say to his family when he was worried that things, weren't going well? And he was concerned that she was actually trying to poison him in the past, not once, but a couple times.
Yeah, the lethal dose was actually the third time that he had been poisoned. After the second time, he warned some family members that he thought she was trying to kill him, and in fact said to them, if something happens to me, by all means, you should check my wife out. You should check her out and make sure she didn't do this because I think she's trying to kill me. So he was suspicious. He stayed together for the kids. He stayed together for the family. He did what he thought was right to maintain the family. But all along, he knew what I guess must have just torn him up, which was that his wife was probably trying to kill him.
I only have 10 seconds left, but there's a detention hearing on Friday, which, ultimately will determine whether she has to stay behind bars until her trial. Is the family going to be there?
They don't plan to be there. It's a first-degree felony aggravated murder case, and under the laws of the state of Utah, the presumption is that he would be detained without the opportunity for bail. I don't think they plan to be there.
Listen, I don't know what I would do in that boat. I don't think I could look at that face if I thought that she'd taken the life of the boy's father and my brother or son, or just awful. Greg Skordas, thanks for being on. I hope you'll come back.
You bet, anytime.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
And some discount shoulder pads. Gemini Gal said Eric was an amazing person, father and husband, and knew she would use the kids as a pawn if divorced. You know how many men will not leave their relationship, and it's something not talked about very often. And that's when men stay in a relationship, in a marriage, even though they know that their wife is putting them into bankruptcy, abusing them, not appreciating them, because they know when push comes to shove, they're going to wind up paying that bitch and paying child support. She's going to be the victim because she's going to be all over Facebook talking about what a sack of shit she married. And they stick around. They stick around. And they will use the kids as pawns. They will alienate the dad, suck him dry, and continue. He was trying to avoid all that. And now look where we are. She poisoned him. I saw something on Dateline. And of course, if it was on Dateline, it's 100% true. Because you know how much I love my Keith. It was, turn it around, it was actually a woman. And she had a lot of money. The husband, yeah, he was kind of a deadbeat. And anyway, he was slowly poisoning her with Gatorade. She drank Gatorade all the time. And they thought they had her tested for everything from like MS to lupus. They did all kinds of stuff. They couldn't figure out why she was so sick. Well, she eventually wound up passing away. And it took quite a while, and they realized that she had been slowly poisoned over time. All for that cold, hard cash. Nucky saw it too. The one I saw, she passed away. No, Alicia, this is a different one. Nope, it was with antifreeze. Don't try this at home. Please do not go to another chat and say that Brooks suggested you put antifreeze in anything. It was crazy.
You know, she tried doing it the first time. You know what he should have done? And for future situations, if this ever happens and somebody does this to another person, he should have set her up. He should have taken anything she gave him to drink, any food, anything like that, came up with an excuse and went and had that stuff tested to see if anything was in it. He knew, she tried unaliving him the first time.
Mm-hmm.
He should have set her up and had that stuff tested. Then he wouldn't have had to worry about losing his kids, because then she would have been in jail and none of this would have happened to him.
Right. Right. Oh, you're exactly right. Dakota says, does anyone know if the hearing is going to be live on Friday? I hope so, because I want to see her. This is an article from the Salt Lake Tribune. Eric Richins, excuse me, I'm going to start sneezing like OJ, whose wife is accused of killing him, hoped to keep the family together. That was what he was trying to do. Get that off of there. I don't want to buy that. He liked being outdoors. Before 39-year-old Eric died of fentanyl overdose last year that prosecutors say his wife induced, he was an avid outdoorsman and entrepreneur. He was also a devoted father and husband, says Greg Skordas, a Salt Lake City attorney who was acting as a spokesman for the family. He hoped to keep his family together. He wanted his boys in a nuclear family, and he hoped things would work out. And he was very much in love with his wife, even though it became fairly obvious that she was trying to undermine him professionally and at least suspected that she was trying to kill him at one point. What is all this stuff popping up? Originally from Bountiful, Richins went to Woodcross High before graduating from the University of Utah, according to his Facebook profile. The university declined to comment, but confirmed he received a bachelor's degree in 2011. 2 years prior, he had started a masonry business called C&E Stone Masonry with his business partner and close friend, Cody Wright. The letters in the company's name corresponded to their own initials. According to a petition filed Wednesday in an ongoing probate case over his estate, the pair focused on intricate outdoor stonework, pavers, and tile work in high-end homes, as seen on their Instagram. And it is very impressive, I'm not going to lie. Richins and Wright purchased a mutual life insurance policies on each other, the petition states. Skordas said this is common practice when two people go into business together. It gives you the funds to buy the other party out if they die. Cody Wright referred the Salt Lake Tribune to Skordas for comment. See, Cody's not talking. On June 15th, 2013, Eric married Corey in the backyard of their Camas home, and they eventually had 3 sons, court records state. But by at least 2016, she was stealing money from him, the petition in the probate case alleges. In order to afford to flip houses and address her ongoing financial woes, the petition alleges she began taking money from his bank accounts, as well as running up debts on credit cards in his name without his knowledge. So she's not good at what she does. If this was all to flip homes, she's not good on the other end with the profits. There's something else going on. In 2020, Eric learned that Corey had taken at least $100,000 from his accounts, as well as borrowed large amounts of money on his credit cards in excess of $30,000, the petition states. Also in 2020, Eric discovered that Corey had borrowed $250,000 using a fraudulent power of attorney, forging his initials on documents, allowing her to act on his behalf, the petition states. When Eric confronted her, Corey admitted to taking the money. In January 2022, Corey secretly logged into Eric's life insurance account and changed the beneficiary from Cody Wright to herself. When he was alerted, he changed it back. Corey also is accused of taking at least $80,024 that was meant to be used by Eric to pay his federal taxes. He was making a damn lot of money. I mean, a damn lot of money. If he had to pay 80 grand in federal taxes, that dude was raking it in.
Mm-hmm.
As well as $54,322 for his state taxes, and may have taken more money for a purpose that is yet to be discovered, the petition states. There was no question their marriage was on the rocks, and we believe that Corey took some steps to manipulate their marital assets because of that, and we also believe that she took his life because of that. Eric was found dead at the foot of his bed on March 4th, 2022. Corey is accused of fatally drugging him. That's a lot.
Yeah, my gosh.
That is a lot. Grief. Woo!
And actually, when I'm like profiling some of these cases, I use the Black Widow theory. Okay, a Black Widow not only will kill their mate, but they will also kill their offspring if their offspring are ill.
Mm-hmm.
That's like what I was stating earlier. I feel like after a while, she would have tried doing something to those kids.
Oh, I believe so
for even
too.
more money.
I believe so too. With him gone, I think she was going to start one by one. She was going to do something to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
She shouldn't have taken, $80,000 that they needed to pay federal income taxes. Does she want him in jail? He obviously can't break his back if he's in jail making money for her ass.
No.
Idiot. Good God.
Well, everything in that article basically shows motive for premeditation.
She knew exactly what in the hell she was doing and what she wanted to do and what she wanted out of it. She knew.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And people are asking about the life insurance policy. She logged into his policy, making it look like it was him making the changes. You see, if I log into my husband's life insurance, I know his password and everything. I can make all the changes I want because it looks like it's him. Now, back in the 80s, you had to call up the life insurance agent and go meet at the office. And they obviously knew I don't look like my husband. But it's not that way anymore.
To me, if they would have left it that way, it would be damn hard for people to even try this kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the old school way is better than the new wave thing.
Well,
in my opinion.
Oh, I think you're 100% right because just look how people act. It's totally different when you're face to face with someone as opposed to behind an avatar. It's
Yeah.
totally different sitting across a desk from someone. You can tell your boss, F you, I'm not coming to work over a text, but you see him face to face, you're like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe how sick I was yesterday.
Yep.
It's different. The face
100%.
is gone. And that takes away a lot of accountability when people don't face each other. Like, I don't understand some of these channels that don't know who's behind the curtain and they don't know who they're paying. These people could be pedophiles, they could be drug dealers. I don't
Yep.
understand.
That's 100%. You're right. I'd much rather deal with somebody the old-fashioned way than a lot of this technology crap. All this bull crap.
Mhm.
And that's why she almost got away with doing it. It's
Almost.
because she didn't have. Well, I'm talking about financially going in and changing stuff.
Mhm.
She could have almost got away with this because she wasn't on a face-to-face thing with somebody.
100%. 100%. And technology is a blessing and a curse. Let's face it, I wouldn't
Mhm.
know any of you guys if it wasn't for technology, and I love you guys. I couldn't imagine a day without you. You're wonderful, wonderful people. I wouldn't know you without technology. But there's some point where technology's got to stop and people have got to meet face to face so things like this wouldn't happen.
Yes.
You can only make major changes if you go see someone. You bring them your driver's license. You bring them your social security card. You give them your John, I almost said John Hancock.
Jen.
That's how you do it. Ridiculous. But that's how it goes.
That's how crazy the world is now. God, by God, if something happens to your computer or your phone, everybody's going half crazy. They can't handle it because people are so absorbed and into technology and all this crap that they don't know how to handle life the old school way because
You're
they become so addicted to all this crap.
It's a different reality, and they don't have fits and get upset when they're face to face with someone. And she wouldn't have pulled all this shit. I'm not saying that her phone is the problem or anything like that, but we do know that this life insurance change was just done. I mean, she logged into his account. Nucky said that's why you have a personal insurance agent. And he did. And they told him that this change was made. So he changed it back. Thank God he did. And that got the wheels in motion.
And just think if that agent wouldn't have said nothing to him and she would have unalived him, she'd be with all that money right now.
I agree. All right. Corey Richins leaves imprint. I need to get my glasses. I keep mispronouncing stuff because I can't see. Corey Richins leaves imprint on multi-million-dollar Midway mansion. It gets wilder and wilder, everyone.
From Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us tonight. Now more follow-up on the case involving the Camas woman charged with the murder of her husband and the house she closed on just hours after his death. ABC4's Elena Castro bringing us more on the future of this Midway mansion. Elena?
She bought it for $2 million. And then 2 weeks after her husband's death, Corey Richins placed the unfinished Midway home back on the market. It's here at this house where those illicit fentanyl transactions took place between Corey and her dealer, fentanyl being the cause of Eric Richins' death. Though unfinished, the concept video of the house done up by Rosewood Homes shows the entire vision for the 20,000 square foot estate, complete with a basketball court, swimming pool, in-home theater, golf simulator, and rock wall. I spoke with Utah realtor Brian Kelly to get an insider's look on how all this controversy might affect the future of this home.
It could raise the value because of the controversy, or it could bring it down quite a bit. And it depends on the buyer if they, really care about what's going on or not, or if they just see the home itself and not any history.
According to Utah regulations, a realtor does not have to disclose any personal history the home may have, whether that be that someone has died in the home or that the previous owner is charged with her husband's murder. But most states require sellers to disclose if there's been a murder on the property. Knowing those details may make a buyer think twice.
As people, see a murder attached to the home, and whether...
Okay, so we all know disclosures, but my question is, why was she thinking she was going to flip new construction? That makes zero sense. You find something that's like you go to Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and you buy a house for $30,000, you renovate it, and you sell it for $100,000. That's called flipping a house. This is brand new construction. No, she wanted it. She was going to live in it.
Superstition or anything like that could definitely affect the sale of this home.
The house is now listed under realtor Mike Malmrose, who says the $3.7 million house is now under contract. He's set to have a due diligence meeting with the buyer on Monday. Back to you.
Crazy. Rebecca said, I don't think she's that smart. She's not. She's not. Gamer said, yeah, she wanted that house. You're not going to flip brand new construction. You gut it. You put new appliances in it. Put a new roof on it. Then you flip it. When it's brand new, no. Crazy. And that house is massive. It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good luck cleaning that thing. Good God. I
know.
Come unglued, but I just have to clean one tiny bathroom. I'm like, not today. Nucky said it's not even bricked. I noticed that too. In Oklahoma, everybody has to have brick because of tornadoes.
Oh, could you imagine OJ in that big old... He'd be having flipping fun.
Good Lord. I wouldn't be able to find him for a month. Of course, he'll come out to eat. He thinks he's hot shit now because he's got new bowls to eat out of.
Bacon, Mama. I'm ready to come out now.
Sonia said Molly Maids was on her agenda originally. So you want to buy a big old house to have someone else come clean it? Just for the status. Just for the status. It wasn't about the kids. It wasn't about her husband. It was about her. Snazzy said that house was left unfinished for years. My goodness. Uli, what's going on? Uli. I think Uli's got her phone in her pocket. Because people are getting hidden. Absolutely insane. I mean, who the hell would even think of something like this? Is she Lori Vallow's cousin?
Another cousinette.
Yeah. Exactly. She's going to wind up looking like this soon.
She already got the long hair. Wait for the nappiness and the X on the top of her head.
Yeah, she's going to wind up looking like that. Hang on, I have to go over here. Let me play this, and I have to go unblock a couple of people. Accidents happen. Hang on.
So my husband passed away unexpectedly last year. So it's March 4th was a 1-year anniversary for us. And he was 39. It completely took us all by shock.
Corey Richins wrote a book about helping her children grieve after the loss of their father. Now she is charged with murdering him. I've covered a lot of crime stories over the years, many of them here at Law and Crime, and it always makes me think about how important it is for all of us to stay safe. Well, Palm Pepper Spray can help you do just that. It's a small but mighty self-defense tool. Palm Pepper Spray shoots up to 12 feet using the strongest legal form of pepper spray available. It's safe and easy. You just point and spray. And if you want to try it, you can get 10% off. Just log on to palmpepperspray.com, enter the promo code LawCrime10, and remember, if you or anyone else is ever in danger, always dial 911. Eric Richins died on March 4th of 2022 in his home in the Park City area of Utah. Police say he died of an overdose of fentanyl.
Did she just do a promo code in the middle of this? Good Lord.
Yes, for pepper spray.
Pepper spray. Okay. All right. There's no one's blocked now. All right. I took care of it on the community setting, so everyone should be good. Everyone should be good. This happens from time to time. All right. I'm going to get a promo code. What should be our sponsor around here? We need a sponsor. I thought about Cajun Ed's. Think about things that I like. Chica, you're back. We would never do that to you. We love you.
OJ and me are in agreement. Something to do with bacon. Gotta have bacon.
I'll get Winco Bacon's gonna have to be the sponsor. Promo code OJ. Yeah. Good God.
And that his wife, Corey, poisoned him with a Moscow mule. She was arrested this week and charged with murdering Eric and possession of a controlled substance. Court documents claim Corey told police that she slept in one of her children's rooms the night Eric died without her cell phone and that she later found him dead. But the documents say her cell phone showed movement at that time and text messages from the time had been deleted.
Sus bus. Get on the sus bus. You act like nothing's going on. See, they can find your movements as you're walking around. So if I've got my phone with me right now and I go to check the mail, they're going to know I checked the mail. See, Big Brother is always watching. These idiots.
Big. What a lot of people don't realize, Big Brother has been watching since the 60s.
Yeah.
Back during Nam. That's when it all started.
Yep.
And the phone is always their failure. It's always their failure. Every damn time. Unless you live in East Tennessee, then it seems to work in your favor.
The documents also state that Corey Richins had asked a drug dealer for, quote, some of that Michael Jackson stuff. Michael Jackson died of an overdose of propofol, a drug used in surgery as anesthesia. Just recently, Corey Richins appeared on the local news in Utah to promote a book she wrote about grieving entitled, Are You With Me? She wrote that book for her 3 children.
I'm new to all of this, so kind of doing research and reading books and things to try and understand, not only how to grieve as a widow, as a wife, but also, with my kids, how to help them understand what just happened.
It's also been reported that Eric had written Corey out of his will and that he actually believed that she was trying to poison him. The couple had also been arguing over the purchase of a home for $2 million, according to KPCW TV. Eric didn't want to buy the home, and Corey closed on it the day after Eric died. She later resold it. Joining me to discuss the murder of Eric Richins is Greg Skordas. He is a spokesperson for Richins' family. Greg, thank you for coming on Sidebar with us. We appreciate it.
I'm surprised it wasn't Shannon Gray. He's loving being family spokesman. Blanca said coin pusher. That's what I'm talking about. Coin pusher is going to be our new sponsor.
Yeah.
Why not? Lone Wolf, have you ever played coin pusher?
Yeah.
Did you win? Did you get $18?
Well, actually, I got lucky, and when I got lucky, I quit playing. That's the strategy.
Yeah, you have to be smart, unlike Candace.
Did you wear basketball shorts when you won and put your quarters in those?
No.
Then you did it wrong. Sorry to take your achievement away from you.
Eric died. She later resold it. Joining me to discuss the murder of Eric Richins is Greg Skordas. He is a spokesperson for Richins' family. Greg, thank you for coming on Sidebar with us. We appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here, Anjanette.
How is Eric's family doing right now?
I think they're doing very well. I mean, he died in March of 2022, which is now over a year. Certainly, they knew at the time that he didn't die from a drug overdose that he himself had consumed. But they knew that it was suspicious, and they knew that something untoward had occurred. They're just happy now that the Summit County law enforcement community and the prosecuting office has filed charges. They believe that they're on the right track. They have confidence in the system, and they're just looking forward to some resolution in this case.
There are a lot of details coming out about this case. You know, Corey Richins, his wife, had written a children's book about grieving. It sounds a little bit shocking given the allegations in this case that she poisoned him.
Yeah, there's just a lot of ironies in this case, and it's really problematic. I mean, you can't make this kind of stuff up. And it took a long time. I mean, it was over a year between his murder and charges being filed. And that's not uncommon. I mean, I think the medical examiner's report had to be closely scrutinized, and witnesses had to be interviewed. And it just took a very long time. There's certainly a lot of ironies in this case with respect to her writing a book about grieving when it appears that she may have been involved in the homicide, that she may have committed it. And so the family's just torn because on the one hand, they wanted to believe in her. On the other hand, the truth as it's coming out is certainly problematic.
Okay, so they tried to believe her. They tried to believe the story that he was on the pills in high school and got back into it, escalated to the fent, and put 5 times the legal limit in the Moscow Mule. They said they were trying to believe her, but the evidence spoke for itself.
There's been some reporting and some documents that claim that, you know, she had tried to poison him previously. She had asked a drug dealer allegedly for some of that Michael Jackson stuff. Michael Jackson, of course, died of a fatal overdose many years ago. Also, this argument and a dispute over the fact that she wanted to purchase a home for $2 million and he did not want to purchase the home. What can you tell us about that?
You know, there were some problems between the two of them. They were related to finances. He came into the marriage as a successful businessman. And I think that she may have felt that if something happened to their marriage and he left her or she divorced him, that she wouldn't get as much of his estate as she would if he passed away. I don't know what her motivation is. We do know that a drug dealer was interviewed by police, and that drug dealer has confirmed that she sold the defendant drugs, opioids, on at least 2 occasions.
$900 worth. Let me tell you a story.
Oh my gosh.
Back in 2014, I was at a Christmas party at work. This was during the day. and I could not stand up. I hurt so bad. I drove myself to the hospital. I left my car where the ambulances park, okay? Because I didn't want to ruin the Christmas party. That's just how I am. And left the gifts there. Drove to the hospital, which was maybe 2 blocks away. Got myself to a wheelchair, wheeled myself to the ER, okay? And I sat there for a little while. I was basically in a room all day long, and they said, "We can't get you to respond to pain medicine." They gave me some of the what they're talking about. Not a care in the world. Turned out I had a tumor on my ovary, and they had to remove it. They had to cut through my abdomen and everything to get it all out. But I remember asking over and over, "Can I take some of this home?" And they were like, "No." No. Yeah, not taking none of that home. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Because nothing was cut in the paint. Chica said, "I love Sonic Ice. Me too. I would love to have a Sonic Ice machine."
Prior to the time that Eric died, and that the sort of the dosage that she was buying each time was getting apparently stronger and stronger.
And I'm assuming he did not use illicit drugs.
Eric never used drugs. He was a healthy man. He had no family history of substance abuse. He had no personal history of substance abuse, had no criminal history of abusing drugs, medical history, anything like that. There's no evidence that he ever used illegal drugs at all in his lifetime. And he was really a healthy man. I mean, he was avid in this kid's athletic activities. He was an outdoorsman involved in the search and rescue in the Summit County where he worked. He was a man who took very, very good care of himself and would not have abused his body with illegal opioids.
How are the children doing? I mean, there were 3 children that he had with Corey Richins. Where are they and how are they doing?
They had 3 boys. They're apparently doing very well. They're with a close family member, and the family, the broader family, feels like they're in very good hands, and they're with very, very good people right now.
One of the things that's so shocking about this, and I want to state that Corey Richins, of course, is innocent until proven guilty. She'll be back in court later this month. But Eric Richins,
she's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But we can have our own court here. Gamer says, "Are you doing okay now, Brooks?" "Oh yeah, healthy as a horse." They just didn't send me any of that stuff back with me in that IV because that was awesome. So when people say, now remember, they're innocent until proven guilty. She bought the fent. She put it in the Moscow Mule. She changed his life insurance. She stole thousands of dollars, and I mean thousands. I think she's kind of set herself up. That's just me, though.
according to the documents and things, he suspected or felt like she may have been trying to kill him. So that's some pretty damning evidence right there. The fact that he had these suspicions and then changed the beneficiary in his will and life insurance and things like that.
Yeah, there was some notion that he foresaw this, that he actually talked to some family members and said, if something happens to me, you should check out my wife, because he believed that she was trying to kill him. There were certainly some things going on between the two of them as it related to their marital finances, and just a culmination of things that ultimately resulted in, according to the county attorney's office, her deciding that he should be killed.
Well, we are certainly going to keep an eye on this case. It's really disturbing, the allegations that are being made here. Any final thoughts?
No, we just trust the system, and we're glad that this next step has occurred, and we're looking forward to the steps that occur from now.
Right. Greg Skordas, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
I also spoke with John Lusich about this case. He is an expert in computer forensics and also a retired police officer.
Well, I spent 5 years in uniform and the rest of the time as an investigator with the Attorney General's office.
I'm sure his resume is impressive, but let's think about it. The digital forensics on this are going to be insane. She did all of this basically, besides what she put in the drink, on the computer. She changed the life insurance on the computer. She got a hold of the dealer, who is a female. Thank you for telling me that. Via phone. She didn't tape a note to a dove and send it to the drug dealer. All of this is going to come back to her. Every bit of it. 100%.
Organized Crime Bureau, and I've worked a lot of cases, including some homicides. And they have a lot of evidence against her right now, just in dealing with the drug dealer and dealing with the insurance company and partners, and her attempt to move things around. That is just part of it. And that's an overwhelming amount of evidence. The fact that he was poisoned first, got very sick, and then she bought more drugs and he passed away as a result of that. And I'm sure they're going to gather supporting evidence, such as the digital evidence that comes from cell tower dumps and cell phones and other digital devices. But the way I see this is that they've got a lot of overwhelming evidence against this woman.
It also discusses this complaint, talks about her phone. It showed it was locked and unlocked multiple times. And this was, movement recorded on the phone. I'm assuming that's the Celebrate analysis of her phone. Is that right?
And so your phone tracks your health a lot of times. It tells you how many steps you've actually taken. We've actually worked a case where the phone was supposed to be off, and yet it was moving around. Somebody else was using this gentleman's phone. So there's a lot of artifacts on a phone. Now, an artifact could be one email message, could be one log, it could be one picture. But there are a lot of other artifacts that show that people were logging in, logging out. You can actually see that in the log, dates and times, as well as the movement, and so much other stuff that depending upon the apps that you have on your cell phone.
One thing that's interesting to me is that some of these messages, and this always raises a red flag. You've got her calling 911 and there are messages sent and received according to this, but then they were later deleted.
Right. And they can tell that they were deleted. And while they might not be able to tell the exact second they were deleted, if it came in at 10:35 and 10 seconds, and it was deleted, it was at least deleted at 10:35 and 10 seconds or after, right? But before the cops were able to gather that. So when someone takes.
All right. What did she delete? Because you can delete whatever you want. It's going to be found. Did she send a message to a boyfriend? Did she get a hold of the dealer? The dealer's being cooperative. Why was she deleting messages? And let me tell you what, when he was passing away, it would have been noticeable. He didn't just go to sleep. Okay? He gurgled. He was struggling for breath. He lost control of his bowels. Might have gone into a seizure, considering the overdose. He didn't just go to sleep. She says she went to him and he was cold to the touch. Well, it hadn't been that long because her son woke up from a nightmare. Your body fights back. Your body wants to live. Our cells go and go and go and go. No, he didn't just go to sleep. She watched him die. She watched him struggle. He was probably foaming at the mouth. You name it. But her saying, oh, he did drugs in high school and must have gotten back into it right after I changed his life insurance. No. No.
I mean, wouldn't some of his kinfolk know if he was doing something years ago?
Yeah,
If
I
he
would
was doing.
exactly. I would love to hear the other side of that story. I have a feeling that shit
Yeah.
did.
Because that don't make no sense in the world. If he had a problem back then, how's she the only one who knew of it?
Funny how that always happens with these murderous women. I guarantee you she was so resentful over the money, she sat there and watched him. She watched him shake. She watched him moan. She watched him spit up. She watched the whole thing. She didn't just find him laying there peaceful and he felt cold to the touch, like she said.
No, she wanted to make sure he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder if she didn't record it and then delete it like Sarah Boone did.
Mm-hmm. I guarantee you could freeze ice on her ass.
Yep, probably just sitting there watching him suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Not even giving a shit.
Because with this type of OD, I have to be careful on YouTube. His systems started shutting down. This was not he just went to sleep and he was cold to the touch. And no.
No,
No.
that's not how ODs work.
It takes a process.
Especially 5 times the legal limit. He's a healthy man. Heart, liver, kidneys, pancreas, brain. This took a while for all of this to happen. But she writes a book about grief. No, my friends, that is not how it happened. And she knew exactly that he was struggling and knew he wouldn't survive and sat there and watched it. Please, I mean, I hope no one on the jury, I mean, we're smarter than that here. I hope no one on the jury thinks that he drank this Moscow Mule and went to sleep and then was cold to the touch. No, he struggled to live. He was having trouble breathing. His body was trying to get rid of it. No. She's sadistic.
It's the affirmative action to delete something that's nefarious, right? They're trying to hide something. But a lot of times, Celebrite and other, forensic products could bring that back, depending upon how long goes by. Because remember, we use our cell phones so much more than we use our computers. They're on all the time. They're with us, unlike our computers. And it's got the smallest storage space. So things get overwritten within days and weeks rather than weeks and years.
And that's it for this edition of Law and
And actually, if you look at the book she wrote for her kids, you can look at that as far as premeditation for what she's going to do to the kids later on.
Yeah. That's what Amanda was saying. I think she was going to go for the kids next. She wanted to be footloose and fancy free. Well, she's footloose and fancy free in the pokey now.
She's doing the hokey pokey.
She's doing the hokey pokey in a different way. She's got a 6x4. She got a paper thin mattress. If she's lucky, she's got some ramen noodles. And she's going to wind up looking like this.
Oh gosh, if that ain't the worst punishment in the world.
All for that cold hard cash. That was what it was all about. You were a cashier at the Home Depot. He caught your eye. You could have enjoyed your life. You could have enjoyed your children. But you wanted that Michael Jackson stuff because you wanted to make sure you had everything. Well, now you've got everything. You're now property of the government. Now the United States of America has you.
And hopefully they have the DP there.
They do. They have the firing squad in Utah.
Good.
Hope she
deserves
enjoys
it.
her 2 minutes a week with her little sliver of soap. Not even enough to wash out her ass crack. Gotta be kidding me. Well, how about we end the show with some positivity? You guys want to see a good Samaritan?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Directly towards a busy street and the amazing rescue, that awful moment captured by caught on camera, a baby stroller heading directly towards a busy street and the amazing rescue, that awful moment captured by a surveillance camera. This happened at a car wash in Hesperia on an extremely windy Monday. Baby's mother, desperate to catch her baby, falls twice, seemingly frozen in fear, is unable to move. Good Samaritan was able to stop the stroller just in time within a few feet from a busy.
She was traumatized. She was crying. She was just in shock. I'm glad. I hope she's all right. You know, that's why I gave her a hug. I was so like, I wouldn't know what to do if that was my child.
Ron Nessman said he and his sister had stopped at the car wash just by chance after having finished a job interview. He said he was glad that he was at the right place at the right time.
That baby would have been killed. Windy day, catches the stroller. Mom's trying to get all the stuff in the car. Look at this again. And he had just left a job interview. He's an over-the-road truck driver trying to get a job.
An extremely windy Monday. Baby's mother, desperate to catch her baby, falls twice. Seemingly frozen in fear, is unable to move. Good Samaritan was able to stop the stroller just in time within a few feet from a busy street.
She was traumatized. She was crying. She was just in shock. I'm glad. I hope she's all right. You know, that's why I gave her a hug. I was so like, I wouldn't know what to do if that was my child.
Ron Nessman said he and his sister had stopped at the car wash just by chance after having finished a job interview. He said he was glad that he was at the right place at the right time.
A lot.
Oh, God, it flipped over to see that. I love stories like that when someone does the right thing. You know, I mean, we should always mind our own business, but when you see something like that, jump in.
That's right.
Rebecca said, give that man a good job. Yes, Cassie, he is a hero. You are right. And a lot of people.
I think that baby just going to uncle.
I think so too. Beverly said, give him the job. I know. I love it. Well, I love ending on a good note because this story, this case is horrible. It's horrible. It is greed, greed, greed. She's going to understand greed sitting in jail for the rest of her life. I want to say thank you very much to Lone Wolf for coming up. I want to say thank you very much to Amanda for coming up. Thank you, everybody. We had donations today for Crime Lines and Lies memberships. We had donations to support the channel. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Now, if the hearing is live on Friday, we will be covering it. If not, we will have to talk about it later, because as many of you have reached out to me and said, Brooks, you've got to talk about this case. I want to hear what you think about it. I said, all right, I'm digging in. I'm digging in. We're going to continue with this because she is evil. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We had new people here. Thank you for welcoming everybody. And I will see you over in Discord or in one of the Facebook groups. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for coming in here for this. I appreciate it. Best community, best chat on YouTube, hands down. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true.